My sincerest apologies, friends and family. You had to sit through that disgracement of a dance move. My apologies again. But welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. I am one of your co-hosts, David, and we're coming at you from our studio here in very hot. You can fry an egg on the asphalt, Las Vegas, Nevada, with our daily, only on the weekdays, live shows. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that we say on this channel should be taken as financial advice. So please, as always, do your own research. With that out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to the Lizard Man. Big Rob, what's up?
Hola, it's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome, Sin City Crypto. First time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams. We also drink way too much coffee and are amped up, and we do deep dives and YouTube shorts. How you doing?
Just blew out the audio, but sorry, Rocco.
I just lost my left ear.
I think we're both. I mean, I had a big cup of coffee too. No, you had two because I brought you one.
So your boy got my own cold brew I made at the house, and then I got some Starbucks here. So should take for some interesting.
And today is big because our favorite project, to bash on, just filed for bankruptcy. Now, I say that with the mind of people who have money locked on there.
Solana filed for bankruptcy?
No.
Oh.
Celsius. Yeah. But we'll get into all that. I'm going to have Robin do roll call, and we'll go over what we're going to talk about. Robin?
All right. So super excited today, guys. Now let's get to 60 people in the chat. Right now we're sitting at 18, and I don't have the analytics up, but it ain't enough likes. I don't know where we're at, but let's make
14,
sure we get
14 likes.
Four people haven't liked the video. Which four of you is it?
I think I'm one of them. Hold on. All right, we're good.
So, roll call. Taking a look, we got first in the chat, R.A. Daniel, Strictly Sports. Second in the chat, we got Bullish Kenny G, Tox, Mervin, Marky Mark, Nordy, Blake. We got Hit or Miss. And then we got Mr. Tech up in here, Jason. Jason's one of my favorite people.
He is.
I just want to pause and say,
are you leaving DFib in the dust?
Where is DFib at? That's what I want to know. Now, we also got, and we had Jason in studio, man. Super cool guy, man. And if any of y'all are, I know some of y'all are Vegas locals. If any of y'all want to come by and visit the studio, let us know. And we're glad to have you in. We got the couch here and all that. So, also we got Why You Loud in here, gang. And then Hindi, Sir Babe, AZ, and Stereo 2 on the ones and twos, and Brokey Yoshi just popped in.
What's up, Brokey?
What up, my dude? All right. And then what else we got?
Let me talk about what we got on the docket today.
What we got?
So if you're watching our live stream after the fact, we will provide timestamps to make it easier for you to navigate. But what we're talking about today, we're going to be talking about the cryptocurrency markets. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're going to look at the U.S. Treasury yield inversion and what that means. We're going to talk about PPI inflation. And then, of course, Celsius declaring bankruptcy. What that means, and can they come back?
One last thing. We're also going to talk about Bitcoin. Hey, we got an active live Bitcoin price.
That's right.
More to come. We're expanding on it. This is our first.
Our software engineer.
Yeah.
He's been hard at work. It's going to look really nice, by the way, guys.
Yeah. So.
Also, we're talking about Polygon plus Disney. What that means. And Voyager token is on the rise. Why? We'll talk about that. And some NFT news as well. So, all I got.
That's all you got? All right. Well, let's get into it then.
You want to do any small talk before we get into it?
Small talk? Well, let's see. How was your morning today, David?
It was great.
Yeah?
How was yours?
It was good, man.
Perfect. All right, let's get into the charts.
That was exciting.
That was the smallest talk I ever.
Let's okay, if you guys aren't familiar, we get to 60 people when we break a new all-time high in the chat. We open up the club. We have a Vegas party. So let's stay active in the chat because YouTube looks at that for some reason. And yeah, let's get this party started. All right, without further ado, let's get into Bitcoin. Over 20K right now. So In direct fashion to the traditional markets and what was expected, Bitcoin is rallying. And so we all said, or, hey, all the content creators and anyways, everyone has been talking about inflation coming in really high, bad for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be dumping. And lo and behold, you got Bitcoin moving against the grain. We have a strong rally. As you see here on the chart, we were at just 3 hours ago at 19.7. And so we're making some big moves here to the upside. Currently sitting at $20,531.15. And do you think this is more of a bounce? Because I know we did drop under the 20. Or do you think this is sustained, David? Well, I mean, I know you're going to kind of go into the charts here in a little bit, but what is your first takeaway? Do you think this is just the market rebounding, or do you think it's just
I talked about this yesterday. Like every time you see Bitcoin do something, you do opposite of what you expect it to do. So the inflation numbers come out, markets tank, Bitcoin doesn't, right? You would expect it to tank, it doesn't. That's just telling me majority of leverage is gone. Majority of, they call them the tourists, right? The people that came in, bought the top, sold, they're gone.
We love tourists here in Vegas.
Yeah.
We survive off of tourists.
But we have a lot of Bitcoin tourists as well. And so...
we got a lot of Bitcoin terrorists too. The manipulators, the whales.
Yeah.
Haters.
Those people are gone. You have a lot of Bitcoin moving off exchanges. So people, if they see a swing to the downside, they're like, it's only down $1,000. Oh, it's only down $1,500. It's not worth it for me to go plug in my hardware wallet, send it to an exchange, sell it, blah, blah, blah. Every time we see this, it just tells me that maybe the bottom is in. Maybe the bottom is in. Now, it remains to be seen what happens with all the wrapped Bitcoin and collateral that was unlocked by Celsius, whether it's going to remain in Bitcoin, whether they're going to dump it, liquidate it to cash. They are filing for bankruptcy, and we'll talk about it in their hot take.
You know what bottoms I love, man? It's little baby bottoms. You change the diaper and you got a newborn little infant, and they got
a little weird for a second.
Yeah, I know it sounds a little weird, but man, honestly, man, you got 3 kids, I got 2 kids, and a big old cheeks, man, and little chubby legs, and yeah, it's nice, man. I like. There's lots of bottoms I like here.
My son looked like it. Oh, that sounds so bad. I know what you mean, but people who don't know you, my son, he looked like the Michelin Man, my firstborn, Thomas. If you guys remember, you've seen that video. You met Thomas.
Did any of your kids have the bullet head? Because
the cone head?
Yeah.
No, luckily not.
Dude, man, my daughter had the super cone head.
Really?
For passing the
birth canal.
The birth canal.
Do they use the suction thing like the?
No.
Usually that happens when they do the suction thing.
But and it's funny because my daughter came out. I was like, "Hey, man, what's going on? I want no bullet head kid, man."
They did make a movie about cone heads.
About bullet heads?
Yeah, cone heads.
Yeah. So we like to wander here in our thoughts. So,
yeah, just
Shizzy Destroyer. Welcome.
Stay on course, fellas. All right. Speaking of course, pull up my laptop. So. This cup and handle, Robin thinks the handle went way too far down, and if it would have gone a little lower, I would have been like, yes. But just like we thought yesterday, right? We said it was going to break up, test this trend line, and now it's moving back up. So if I throw my Heikinashi candles, looks like we're in the start of a nice bull trend. And if I go down to the 1 hour chart, I hide this and I throw on the Ichimoku. Price is above the cloud. The cloud is green. The baseline is above the conversion line, and the lagging indicator is getting ready to break above the cloud. These are all bullish indicators. So if I go back to the 4 hour, I take the Ichimoku off and I throw this cup and handle back on. And again, we're going to measure this move from the depth of the handle, and now we know where it broke out. So we're going to go from here. We should see a $23,500 Bitcoin. And can it go a little higher? Can it go a little lower? Yes. But if I go to Crypto Stackers Pro and I have the local high here from June 5th, you can see we do see some resistance, some sell pressure at 23,800. So not too far off. So if you're looking to swing trade or scalp some profits, you have a position in Bitcoin and you got in at 17, 18, 19, even 20K, You want to scalp some profits? 23.4 would be the area I'm looking at selling. Me personally, I'm not doing it, but hey, if that's your game, then that's something I'd recommend. So, not financial advice. That's all I got for Bitcoin.
All right, cool. So taking a look back at the charts, we got Ethereum is rallying today. We are at a $1,174 Ethereum, so outperforming Bitcoin slightly. Taking a look at the comparison, so you have Ethereum up 7.9% and Bitcoin up 3.7%. Now we did see a big pullback. We had the sell-off when Celsius was unstaking their Ethereum. We did see a drop in the price of Ethereum in the 24 hours.
They weren't unstaking; they were unlocking.
They're unlocking, yeah. So now Ethereum at 8%. So it's growing, it's moving. So we're here at Sin City Crypto. We're really bullish on Ethereum in the short term. We do have a major upgrade, the merge coming up around the corner. No hard date set. And if you haven't heard about that, probably sometime between September and December would be a likely time range. But knowing Ethereum, it wouldn't be too far fetched to be next year. But realistically, should be sometime before the end of the year. So
there is some decent volume behind the Ethereum move.
Yeah, I think there's some other Ethereum news I caught too. I need to check. Taking a look.
Their Europe conference is coming up on the 19th.
What is it?
Their conference in Europe. Ethereum.
So looking at the crypto bubbles, everything's in the green here. So you got Polygon Matic up 20%. I get some notifications from Coin. Which one is it? Coin something.
Gecko.
No,
Coin Rank.
I don't know. Anyways, I get push notifications, and it was twice yesterday. It was Polygon up 7% in the last 5 minutes, and same thing this morning. So a lot of rally going on behind Matic, and we're going to tell you what's going on in their ecosystem. Why are people so bullish on Matic right now? There is some big news on the horizon, and we are super bullish on this project, even with the merge coming up. You know what? Ethereum is highly dependent on its ecosystem of layer 2s and 3s, scaling protocols. And so, I've been doing a lot more research on Ethereum lately. And, I like the premise behind Ethereum is that the base layer is to not do anything, realistically. Think of layer 1 as me, big screen, and layer 2 as me, small screen. So,
ooh, I like that.
But no, they're not trying to. They don't want to have any smart contracts on their layer 1. This is per Vitalik, and so essentially it's just for speed, security, scaling. This is the layer 1, and then have all of the smart contracts and dApps built on layer 2s.
Hold on. You're saying he doesn't want any smart contracts built on the layer 1?
Not saying that he doesn't want any at all, but essentially, yeah, that's it.
He prefers it to be on layer 2.
Yeah. He even went, I was watching the Lex Friedman podcast where he had Vitalik on there. That was at the Bitcoin conference, not last year, but the year before. So it's a little older, but in there he was talking about Chainlink, and he was saying that he doesn't want Chainlink integrated into the layer 1 at all. And the reason being is that he doesn't want to compromise the network with smart contracts and vulnerabilities on the layer 1, and just to have all that transparent layer 2.
So I guess the question of when they become more scalable, what's going to be the use for Polygon loop ring? Well, there you go.
Yeah, and so basically you're just making the base layer faster. And so if the base layer is faster and more efficient and scalable, it gives more wiggle room for the layer 2s. So the layer 2s can work more efficiently, cheaper, and faster. They are already pretty damn cheap. I mean, to transact on Loopring, as an example, is dirt cheap. Strictly Sport says the ETH merge will not help gas prices. That is correct. We've squashed that misconception multiple times here.
It's just crazy how many people think. Like how many?
Now the merge will speed up block finality. I think right now it's around 11 to 12 seconds. So it's supposed to get about a 10% increase in speed. So theoretically, it won't help the gas fee as far as per transaction. But what a lot of people do dismiss is that if you process more transactions throughout a 24-hour period, then there's less competition.
Right.
For that, for the gas wars, because that's essentially when you're paying a higher gas fee, you're just paying more to get your block validated over someone else. And so if you're validating more blocks in the same period of time, then there's less competition. So at face value, you can say it won't affect the gas fees, but essentially you could see theoretically a 10% drop in the price for the simple fact that you're going to be processing more transactions in the same time frame.
Right.
And, the whole model of gas fee is, you're paying more than the next person. So, but yeah, not going to dramatic. You're not going to have 25-cent gas fees on Ethereum. That at the moment is not happening. That's a big misconception. Also with the sharding and scaling solutions, that should be out early next year. Per the time frame, and that is going to dramatically help out on the gas fees. But that time frame, let's get to the merge first, because the merge was on the horizon for a long time. So,
Robin, let me ask you a question.
What's up?
You got $1,000 right now to invest for a year. You putting it in Cardano or Polygon?
I would go Polygon. If it's for a year, if I'm looking at a 1 year time horizon, I'll go Polygon. I do think Cardano right now is pumping. It has a lot of roadmap things that already just happened, and also that are on the horizon. But I don't think their ecosystem is going to grow dramatically in the bear market. Now they will be building, and they'll be aligning everything up for the next bull run.
Yeah.
And so if the bull run starts in a year and a half, I think getting into Cardano, say 6 months from now, 8 months from now, probably be a great time window. And I think you're going to find that a Cardano is going to be significantly cheaper than it is now. And with the merge coming up, and perhaps a lot of institutions maybe getting into Ethereum and their entire ecosystem, I think that in the short-term play, Polygon's probably going to have more of a rally within the next 6-month window versus Cardano. So taking a look at the crypto...
Plus tokenomics on only 8 billion tokens versus 40 billion for Cardano.
No. So the fear and greed index, I haven't even looked at it today. 18. So a little bit, people are a little bit more at ease. We did dip down to 15 yesterday. 18 is still super good indicator, a really good indicator on entry points. And if you've looked at the price of crypto, Bitcoin to be specific, when you get under 10 is the historically the best time to buy. So I do think we'll probably get down there again, but right now, if you're going to zoom out and think about the value proposition, great time to get in. Could it go lower? And if you just simply bought at these extreme fear levels when it dipped down to sub 10, you did pretty well. Now there is a lot of volatility going on in Wall Street. We saw NASDAQ down almost a full 2% earlier today. A little bit of a rebound, but still in the red across the board. Taking a look at now, the big sentiment is here. Traders are betting the Fed could raise interest rates by a full 1%. So this wasn't even a talking point. This wasn't even really. The discussion was more or less between 50 basis points and 0.75. And, coming in with the inflation numbers that we did, we were forecasting 8.6. And then last minute, they were like, hey guys, inflation's not looking like it's gonna be 8.6. It might be 8.8. And everyone's like, watch out. And then what? 9.1 surprised everybody. So now you have Canada, who yesterday came out and raised their own federal interest rate a full 1%. You're starting to get a big buzz here. For one, the Fed is not having a meeting next month. So this is going to be their last stop until September to adjust interest rates.
Well, here's the thing.
So they have to adjust for now.
Well, that's not
till September.
That's not entirely true. The Alan Greenspan Fed did random off-the-cuff interest rate hikes. So you can do it outside of meetings. Now, they typically don't like...
Do you think they will? I don't think they will.
I mean, is there a time? Is there a time? I mean, the Dow is still sitting over 30,000. The NASDAQ's still sitting over 11,000, I believe. 11,000?
Yeah.
So it might be the Fed. Jerome Powell might be saying, look, I need to get through to these investors because I'm sure they have a target price, what they want these index funds to be at. So Alan Greenspan's done. It's not like it's not commonplace, but it's not like it's never been done before. It's just they try not to do it because they don't want to make everyone afraid. But at this point, they see inflation keep rising. Maybe they need to put some fear into people. So I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah.
I just think
I think they're for the blueprint they have right now, and I'm not saying that it couldn't change, but the blueprint they have is that they're only raising interest rates after the meetings, and I think that's probably how it's going to stay.
Yeah, I agree.
And I haven't heard any whispers or even rumors of them doing an interest rate hike in between meetings. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I mean, I think right now they're just trying to get between 3 and 4% federal interest rate before the end of the year. And they have another 4 meetings to go. So, you know, even at 0.5% at each meeting from here forward, they would reach their target goal. So I don't think they're like so far behind the ball, but they are not, you know, the thing is it is a glaring problem, this inflation thing, and it's getting worse, and it's incrementally increasing month over month. So if you were to take away the CPI's number where it calculates year over year, if you just look at, you know, our growth of inflation just in the last 3 months, we're up over like 1.5%. So not good, man. Not good at all. And
here's what happens, and pull up my laptop, Rocco. Here's what happens when the Fed starts hiking interest rates. So this is a chart of the euro versus the US dollar. We haven't been this low since 2002. So right now, 1 euro trades for $1. It's always been over $1, $1.10, $1.20. It got as high as $1.60. But as you raise interest rates and you shrink the supply of the dollar or strengthen the dollar, everything else.
Well, another metric, you know, obviously pretty popular that everyone watches. Pull up mine over here.
The Dixie.
Yeah, so that's pretty much in direct correlation to the Dixie is not just the euro, it's everything. And so because the dollar is the world reserve currency and you have to purchase the dollar to transact, to buy oil, to pay back bonds that are issued from the U.S., which
interest
is the most
payments.
Yeah, interest payments. And because the market transacts with the dollar, you have to buy the dollar. So when the dollar index goes up, when the dollar is worth more than every other currency, every nation outside of the U.S. is spending more money to get less dollars. And so you might look at this like, oh, well, hey, the dollar's doing good. But no, it's the best metric for the global economy. And so you're seeing all-time highs here. And, you know, this is not a zoomed out chart here. This is not like from 1980. This is the 1 year chart. And so to look at this happening, this is pretty much the best indicator for inflation. I mean, realistically, you know, how much is the global's money worth versus the dollar? Because as inflation goes up, everything else goes down because you're transacting with the dollar. So yeah, not good, man.
We haven't been this high since 2002 again.
Yeah. And then also, so just outside of just the dollar currency, we also have a lot of quarterly reports coming in. So there's going to be a lot of corporate earnings coming out from a lot of the big banks this week as well, and early next week. So as these reports come in, you're going to get, I'm assuming they're going to underperform, and in doing so, you're going to have some big pullbacks in the market. JP Morgan, one of the largest investment firms / banks in the world, their earnings fell by 28%.
That is huge.
That's ridiculous.
I feel like in the crypto space, we see 20%, 30%. It's not really a big deal to us. In the traditional world, in traditional finance, 28% is ginormous.
Dude.
Like, that is huge.
So they're suspending
withdrawals,
buybacks. So second quarter profits slumped as the bank built reserves for bad loans by $428 million as suspended share buybacks. So the CEO, Jamie Dimon, a couple quotes here. On a positive note, he says the U.S. economy continues to grow, and both the job market and consumer spending and their ability to spend and remain healthy. So at the moment, it's not all doom and gloom. You do see an active working sector here. People are working, people have jobs. Now, if you were to look at just what's going on in Wall Street and just in the economics of here in the U.S., geopolitical tension, high inflation, waning consumer confidence, the uncertainty about how high rates have to go before never before seen quantitative tightening. We've started to shed our budget.
They are so far behind.
They just started, literally last month, and they're starting at a snail's pace. But with these inflation numbers coming in, there's only so much these interest rate hikes can do, and it's only one tool. Another tool is to basically take corporate debt and that they've purchased and just sell it off, or when people make interest payments, it's just to burn it is essentially what's happening. So in a sense, trying to burn capital in a sense. A little bit different than printing money, but kind of the same ideology. Never before seen quantitative tightening and their effects on global liquidity, combined with the war in Ukraine and its harmful effects on global energy and food prices, are very likely to have negative consequences on the global economy sometime down the road. So ultimately, Jamie Dimon it seems very bearish. And I think this was a caveat, him saying the job market and consumer spending is up. I think, that's kind of like when you say I really like David, but, and then the but is,
everything you said beforehand.
Everything you said beforehand is not really a compliment. It's just you're just trying to butter somebody up. And so you have the CEO of one of the largest banks in the world basically saying, hey guys, it's quantitative tightening, higher rates, no bueno. War in Ukraine, messing things up. And, so even if the biggest names in crypto, or in traditional legacy finance, if they say, oh, we're not in a recession yet, we're good, productivity is looking good, and, we're going to bounce back, we're going to see some new all-time highs by the end of the year. At this point,
if you're saying that, you're either
I think people
stupid.
are saying that because they don't want to spook the market, They don't want to, they have a lot of influence.
Right.
You got to think if I think it was Jamie Dimon that did say we were going to see the hurricane.
He said a hurricane is coming.
But there's been a lot of other prominent CEOs of hedge funds and investments, banking, that have been very vocal about we'll be okay. And I think they're doing that because they don't want to scare their own customers and have people exit their own positions.
They got to exit theirs first.
Yeah. And in the same way, you're not seeing the Binance CEO, CZ, coming out and saying, hey guys, crypto is going to tank. It's going to go further because, what is going to happen to his own customers. And so you get a little bit of that. So be careful what people are saying, and take it with a grain of salt, because what they say in front of a microphone, or at a board meeting, might be different than what they truly believe will happen. Anyways, that's all I got for traditionally.
So I wanted to just real quick before we move on. So one of the biggest flashing indicators of a recession is what, Robin?
Amazing hairline.
Yield inversion, right? Thank you, Rocco. Yield curve inversion. All right, so pull up my chart. So we're comparing the 2-year yields to the 10-year yield. And so the idea behind this is if it's more enticing, if you're getting more interest to essentially lend the US government money for 2 years versus 10 years, I mean, just think common sense logically, right? So this has always flashed 6 months, 3 to 6 months prior to recession. And you can see the dark gold colored line is going to be the 10-year, and the lighter gold colored line is going to be the 2-year. And you see it kind of flip flop sometimes. And by the way, this is the 1 day. If I just go to, let's say a month, typically the 10-year will stay above. They'll flip flop a little bit. But what I want you guys to look at is the gap. The gap is what is important. And it's not just a quick flip and flip back. And we saw this happen a couple months ago, 3 months ago, a month ago. But it's getting serious. We're at 3.134 on the 2-year, and we're at 2.967 on the 10-year. So people have more confidence short-term than long-term, right? So I'm telling you, GDP numbers are coming out end of this month. It's going to be negative for Q2. If this stays inverted, unemployment claims are slowly going up, but no one wants to talk about it because that would be the nail in the coffin. That would be recession is here. And I know me personally, I mean, we put up a recession video, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, the Bitcoin recession video.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about it. It's just like Robin said, they don't want to spook the markets. They don't want to spook the investors. Sure, they have some moving money around to do before they let everyone know we're in a recession. So before people start making a run on their equities. But guys, recession is here. Recession is here. We've already been in it, in my opinion. Now, the question is, are we going to go into a deeper, like a depression? My bet is we go into stagflation, which will be really bad in the short term, but we can come out of it a lot quicker than, let's say, a depression, obviously. So, don't have your money, not financial advice, but I wouldn't keep any money in equities. Honestly, I would either do Bitcoin, cash, or put it in the 2-year bonds or the 2-year treasury yield. So that's all I got. Oh, one more thing. So yesterday we talked about the CPI numbers, and I said tomorrow the real inflation numbers come out. Well, they came out. This is the Producer Price Index. It's a program that measures the average change over time in the selling prices received by domestic producers. Right? Would you agree this is more typical inflation, right?
Yeah.
11.3% year over year, 1.1% increase month over month. That is probably what the real inflation number is, probably even a little higher. So this is what I'm tracking, the PPI. I want this to come down before I say inflation is over, not the CPI. That thing changes. It's a flawed metric, I believe, and you take core CPI, that's even worse. So, all I got, man. You ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, hot take, let's go.
What's hot?
All right, our hot take today. First, we're talking about Celsius, but let me give you some background. I'll pull up my laptop. Embattled crypto lender Celsius files for bankruptcy protection. Crypto company Celsius has started the process of filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection after a month of turmoil. Exactly what Voyager did, just took them a month longer. In a Wednesday statement, Celsius said it would look to stabilize its business by restructuring in a way, quote, that maximizes value for all stakeholders. Celsius said it has $167 million in cash on hand to support operations in the meantime. This is the right decision for our community and company, said Alex the Scammer Mashinsky, who is the co-founder and CEO of Celsius. I am confident that when we look back at the history of Celsius, we will see this as a defining moment. We're acting with resolve and confidence, serve the community, and strengthen the future of our company. So, oh, sorry, you don't need to say that. The question is, can Celsius come back from bankruptcy? Robin, please.
Absolutely not. And
Zero chance?
There's zero chance.
What if they change their board of directors? What if Mashinsky steps out?
No, I mean,
what if they rebrand?
If they come back, it will be under a company that probably has nothing compared to the old one. And so what would that look like? It would look like a brand new company anyways. And perhaps they have legally, they technically would be Celsius, just in a different package. But if they were to come back, theoretically, they would have to have no founder, Alex Mashinsky. They would have to have a different name. They would have to pay off their debts. They would have to resolve all financial issues, start again, new customer base. And essentially, that's just a different company, right? Yeah. And so if they were to come back, it wouldn't be Celsius. It'd be something completely
different. Do you think the
different.
name Celsius is too tarnished? Or is it more Mashinsky?
100%.
Or is it more Mashinsky?
The general public is not going to get into Celsius. Now, we know Alex Mashinsky's name, but you got to think like the legacy investor, these, you know, when you look at like CNBC as an example, Bloomberg, you know, the people, those viewers that are consuming this content, they don't know who Alex Mashinsky is. They just see the headlines, Celsius bankrupt, things like that. And so the people that are, you know, actively plugged into crypto might know Alex Mashinsky, but at face value, you know, it's Celsius that went under. And, you know, I don't think anybody in our crypto network, any major players or even just retail, they're not going to trust Alex Mashinsky anymore. And there's no reason to trust him. Dude hasn't even been out there talking. You know what I mean? He hasn't been communicating. And so everything went dark after he suspended transactions. So not surprised. And screw him. Company's going to go under. What does surprise me though is how there were still people bullish on Celsius, and there were still people purchasing the Cell token, and how their Reddit community was active and basically trying to create a rally for it, and going on this tirade where they're saying that you know, there's all this misinformation. Look at Celsius. They're paying back their loans. They're so much better than Voyager. At least Voyager, you know, like you know, at least you know, Voyager didn't try to pay back their loans. Let's clear this up real quick. Let's clear this up. First of all, the only reason Celsius paid back their loans was to get their collateral back. And if they stood more to lose by letting that liquidate, or letting that get seized by some government entity, or whatever the means is, whatever would have been more beneficial for them in the finances, they would have went down that road. And so at this moment, you can look at them unlocking and look at them paying back their loans as getting all the cash they can before they go bankrupt. Because they're probably not going to do it afterwards. They pretty much paid off all their loans, right?
Almost all.
Yeah, they pretty much paid back all their loans. So think about it.
And the only reason, guys, they came out and said bankruptcy is imminent because they had 6 states essentially probe them, subpoena them. Vermont, Texas. I mean, I don't know the other states, but I know Vermont, Texas off the top of my head. That is the only reason why, or else guess what? They would have stayed quiet until they unlocked all their collateral.
That's it. That's all they've been slow playing. They've been slow playing their moves as of lately, because they could have filed for bankruptcy earlier, but they would have stood more to lose, or they would have owed more money, or whatever the case may be, if they would have did bankruptcy right off the rip. And so because they just stopped all transactions and they slowly moved capital around, they bamboozled people to putting more money in because people are delusional. And they're not thinking rationally by investing in Celsius after they halted transactions, which was a real thing, by the way. And they basically took all of that money, unlocked, made more money, and then once they had all the cash in their checking account or in their treasury, once they had as much cash as they possibly could squeeze out of the market, then they're like, okay, now we're ready. Let's file bankruptcy. And this was on the table the whole time. When they halted transactions, they knew this was the course. And this is just the next play on the chessboard. So there you go.
Pull up my laptop. So the Celsius video we posted. Look at some of these comments.
Oh, here we go. I love this. I love these.
Unintelligible. One person said on the bottom here, I think I just got dumber. These guys have no idea. Just because you have a mic doesn't mean you are saying anything. Hard to listen to.
Hey, you know, I saw Why You Loud in the comments. What did he say?
He said gang.
Of course he did.
I mean, look, when you take emotion out of your thinking and you come into a conclusion of what makes sense, like 90% of the time, the answer, if you dumb it down as much as possible and just think, if you're the other person, why are they doing this? Why in the world would they unlock all this collateral? Why are they paying money back? Well, guess what? They weren't using their own money to unlock the collateral. They were using your money to unlock the collateral. And guess what? At the end of it, when Chapter 11 gets filed and the restructuring happens, you're going to get sell tokens. You're going to get shares of the new company, which
you probably won't even get that. I mean,
well, that's what Voyager's doing.
Yeah, and I don't even think the Voyager community is going to get that. I think they're going to have a collapse.
They'll get it. It just won't be worth anything.
That's if they get it. Even if they do get it, it's not going to be worth anything.
And you know what?
I don't even think they're going to get it in the first place.
You know what's funny is that they just updated. They did a video. Celsius did the platform. Frequently asked questions, and one of the questions was, why did they do bankruptcy? Or I just lost my freaking train of thought. Anyways, what they're essentially saying is that this is the most beneficial route for their retail investors. And just to stay put, we got your back. This was the best route for you guys. That is total BS. That is total BS. You're spending money on lawyers. What did it say? What was the figure? $167 million in cash to support operations. What operations? What operations are you supporting? People can't use your platform. They can't withdraw. They can't pay their loans off. They can't do anything. Maybe they can pay their loans off.
They can deposit more money.
So what operations are we talking about? Paying your CEO, paying your employees? Send the employees home. There's no work to be done. So this $167 million, yes, it pales in comparison to the amount of money they owe to their retail investors. But I'm sure the guy who's over here pondering taking his own life would take a $10,000 check over zero. It is so backwards. It is so ass backwards. And, you know, this happened with Voyager. Voyager claims they're a broker dealer, but they filed for Chapter 11. And what is one of the first things the judge told him? Are you sure you're filing for the right bankruptcy? Because if you file for this bankruptcy, your retail investors will be more protected because you can liquidate as a broker dealer. There's more benefits and protections for your retail consumers. Same thing with Celsius, because when you go and you have to check a box for the bankruptcy, they don't fit any of those.
Let me say something here. So what they did, you made a good point. So what they did was they took retail money, they squeezed every dime they could out of retail money for as long as they could, and then they unlocked as much capital as they could with that retail money, and then they're paying back the secured debt. They're paying back the contracts that they signed that are legally binding that hold the most weight. And because in a court of law, when you're trying to settle, when you're going through bankruptcy, your secured loans gotta be paid. Now, you can go into arbitrage and you can negotiate, but those gotta be paid back. if you want to file bankruptcy.
Well, here's the thing too, is when you file, you have to submit your proposal. And in your proposal, if you're like, well, we don't know how we're going to pay the secured creditors, then the bank or then the judge appoints someone to oversee. That's what they didn't want.
So here's the thing. They don't got to pay back the retail investor. Here, pull up my laptop real quick. So this is from the Celsius website here. We've pulled this up before, but just to circle back on this. Here is their bankruptcy disclaimer on their website. In the event that Celsius becomes bankrupt, enters liquidation, or otherwise unable to repay its obligations, any eligible digital assets used in the earn service or as collateral under the borrow service, which is pretty much all retail money. There's really nothing to do. I mean, nobody's just buying tokens on their platform and then just letting it sit there and not do anything. So anybody that had investment in their ecosystem was doing some kind of earn or borrow service. Anyway, so all earn service or collateral under the borrow service may not be recoverable, and you may not have any legal remedies or rights in connection to Celsius obligations to you other than the rights as a creditor of Celsius under any applicable laws. They're basically saying you got no rights, you got no legal remedies, and they can pretty much everything may not be recoverable. So at no way, shape, or form do they need to pay back their retail investors. And so, and then here, they just, this section up here basically says that, what they're doing with your money. They're just being frivolous and doing whatever the hell they want. And so anyways, I'm done with this one, Rocco. Now, so yeah, just to say it one more time, because David said it, I just said it, short and sweet. They took the retail money, they squeezed every penny they could out of retail. They dragged this on for over a month, and then once they exited, as soon as they used every dollar they could out of the regular Joe.
They haven't used every dollar though, Robin. And the only reason they filed is because they got pressure from the state.
Yeah, well, they were gonna have to file anyways. That was their plan from the get go. It's not like they got their arm twisted and they're like, okay, now we have to file for bankruptcy. This was their plan from the get go.
Yep.
But they were just dragging it out, trying to squeeze as much money as they could out of the average investor, out of our viewers, out of me and you, and in doing so, getting as much capital as they can to pay off secured debtors, screwing over all the users. And so it just shows you ain't a man of the people. And then lastly, I will give me 1 second.
This just upsets me so much, man. Typical investors, okay? The average American who makes $60,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. They're told their whole lives, invest in your future. Put some money aside for retirement. Save for this, save for that. And some of these people have to work 2 jobs to support their families. So they might not have all the time to read a whole terms of service. So they rely on people like you, Alex Mashinsky, to come out and be honest and not lead them astray and not do what Voyager did. And your money is FDIC insured, but only in a small little subsegment, you say that, no, it's not really FDIC insured. Or like Celsius coming out and saying, your crypto is safe, 0 risk. And so these people believe in you. People like me personally, I will give you my trust until you break it. And that's what majority of people do. But you want to believe in the good in people. And so when you take advantage of people, knowing damn well what you're doing and it can affect them and it could affect their lives and the lives of their children, that is so wrong, man. That is so wrong. And it upsets me, man.
Pull up my laptop. This just says everything you need to know right here. Banks are not your friends. Celsius is your friend. Banks are not.
It's so messed up, man. Now,
I'm not saying banks are, we actively talk about the failures of the banking system. We actively talk about the inefficiencies of the banking system. We talk about the theft of potential interest, as you see, you're not getting any interest in your savings account, and in turn, the bank is profiting off of it and then charging you a savings account fee. But the thing is at least they're not actively planning to screw people over to a point to where they just take all of your worth. You get what I'm saying? Like at least they're just trying to squeeze as many pennies as they can out of people and have the best profit margin at the bottom of their sheet. But at least they're not actively functioning in a way where they're just like, hey man, maybe in a couple of months this thing's not going to work, and let's just get as much money as we can from every person before we fail. And I know in history there have been lots of examples of that, but this banks isn't your friend. I mean, unfortunately, I have to use the bank still. Crypto's not massively adopted to a point to where I can just exit my bank. But, you know, this is it's just funny how he advertises banks are not your friends. Trust us. And look where that got him. So that's all I got, Brian.
Yeah, let's move on. Talking points. All right, so we talked about Polygon. It's pumping. Well, they have joined Disney's accelerator program to develop augmented reality, NFT, and artificial intelligence experiences. Beautiful castle here. Disney castle. Polygon, I hate CoinDesk's website. You can't scroll up without this stupid thing in over here. Polygon is continuing to scale its Web3 infrastructure via a new project with media conglomerate, the Walt Disney Company. Polygon is one of 6 companies selected to participate in this program, and they are the only blockchain native platform that were selected out of the 6 companies. So the only company out of the 6 that's there to represent blockchain and crypto. Now the program is looking to develop new technologies within AR, NFTs, and AI. I say this all the time. I'll say it again. Follow the money. Where's the money going? Where are the resources going? What are people doing, right? People build and companies build in bear markets. Institutions stack up in bear markets, right? This is what they do, and that's how they come out on the other end better than they were when they left. Disney's doing the same thing. I mean, we've seen this multiple times, and you're going to continue to see it. That is why stop focusing on prices of coins. Look at what's happening behind the scenes, and the price of the coin will follow. Robin?
Yeah, man. I don't understand why this isn't bigger news. I mean, I guess it is big news.
It's pretty big. I was on almost every media outlet.
But you know, first of all, you can break this down into 2 big takeaways. First, Disney, absolute media giant. They don't just own Disney; they also own the Star Wars franchise. They own what else? They own. They own a bunch of stuff. ESPN. They Disney is huge. And not to mention, they have like a cult-like following. And when I say cult-like following, I'm talking about like they have a massive chunk of loyal brand followers. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many people that are all into the Lion King, Mermaid, Frozen, like Beauty and the Beast. The list goes on and on and on and on. And you know, if you can expand your services to a Web3 environment that, you know, what is this going to look like? Is it going to be a metaverse? I know they're talking about augmented reality, but, you know, I don't even think our wildest imaginations are going to accurately portray what Web3 will look like and what the blockchain technology will look like and VR and augmented reality, what that's going to look like in the future. In the same way that you could look at the internet, you know, when people would discuss the possibilities of the internet back in 1999, you know, people were like, yeah, email and chat rooms, and you're going to be able to connect with people. But nobody really envisioned the collapse of the taxi industry, a big hole in the hospitality industry with Airbnb, or perhaps just ordering food at home from any restaurant within a 45-mile range.
Right.
And so you see nobody. So what we are imagining now, everybody's like, oh, headset and metaverse. And it's going to be an immersive world you can run around. That's the obvious. That's cool. Yeah, just in the obvious way that people are going to use emails and direct messages. Yeah, that's a thing. But what do you use the internet for the most, not emails.
I can't talk about it.
No, I know what you're doing.
You dirty dog.
So, it's not emails. And I mean, it is an integral part of the internet and our communication services, but realistically, we're probably on social media more so than we are on, actively sending emails or direct messages. And in 1999, nobody understood even, this was before there was, MySpace or Facebook. And so people were just like, well, text messages were just taking off. And so we don't know where this is going. But when you have a media giant.
Bro, oh, by the way, they own ABC, they own Marvel, they own Hulu, they own, I'm just, this is a shot in the dark. They might be the largest media company in the world. And this is a shot in the dark. I don't have facts to back it up. I didn't look it up. But
if they're not the largest, they're probably, I would comfortably
Top
say
five?
they are, I don't know about not stating, but I could comfortably say they're the most recognizable.
brand, yeah.
They are, out of all of the media networks, they are the most recognizable. And perhaps CNN has more channels around the world. And I feel like you can go to any country and watch CNN.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's it. But as far as brand and recognition, Disney leads the pack by a mile.
I mean, you got kids,
Exactly.
toddlers,
Yeah.
teenagers, adults, grandparents, everyone.
And Mickey Mouse. I'm telling you, you go around the world, you go to Europe, and Mickey Mouse is everywhere. I got Mickey Mouse watches, wallets,
Did I tell you I met him
backpacks,
one time in Vegas?
Mickey Mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was walking the strip.
I've seen he's out
He was
there
eating ice
taking
cream.
photos with people every once in a
He
while.
was cool, man.
So I'm really excited to see what they roll out. And this is the beginning. This is the test phase. This is the alpha before the beta, before the rollout. And
This is the pre-Solana to the Solana beta.
yeah. And so, what is this going to look like? I'm imagining a world or a Disney World where you have augmented glasses on and you holding perhaps a Disney NFT can wander around the park and see things that other people can't see via your glasses.
That's kind of cool.
Perhaps if you have a fast pass or you have some kind of digital ticket that's in an NFT form. Perhaps you have your glasses on and you're just, your regular like reading glasses style. You go over to a line and you can see the estimated wait time instead of, here's the thing. I had a friend, it was actually Eddie. He went to Disney
Ed
World.
or Eddie?
Eddie. He went to Disney World and he said that in navigating the park, he had to have his phone in his hand. He had to stare down at his phone the whole time to figure out which line he needed to go through. Imagine if you didn't have to stare down at your phone and you could wander the park and actively see, wait times posted in front of you. You
Maps,
can see,
you can follow.
you can see an Italian restaurant here on the left side. You look at it with your augmented
Did you
glasses.
say Italian restaurant?
Yes. Where's for dinner?
Yeah, so you look at you look at the Italian restaurant here on the left side as you're walking through the park, and on the glasses they put lasagna on special, 50% off. And so,
Rocco.
you can incorporate metadata throughout the show. So,
You know what comment I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
Read this. Or you can take LSD and see stuff no one else can.
that's right.
That is also a good point.
Oh, you can use the Solana
Yeah, that's
Oculus.
Solana, yeah. Oh, man.
yeah. But if you plug into that metaverse too much, you might not come out.
Yeah.
So.
Your brain might be scrambled like the eggs I made this morning.
Yeah, so, and then lastly, I know I've been dragging on this one.
Hey, listen, man.
But Polygon, the reason they use Polygon, I mean, just thinking about it, Ethereum is probably the most secure network, not quite as scalable. So why not leverage the most secure smart contract network that can facilitate augmented reality, that can probably handle a Web3 environment, and then use the most scalable layer 2 on the most secure smart contract platform. So it makes sense.
And here's the other thing is I think that we're not missing, but that people don't talk about. What's that thing that Larry Fink from BlackRock came up with? It's a standard where you have to be good for the climate, governance, ESG.
Yeah.
These guys, and again, I haven't done extensive research to compare everyone, but Polygon, we covered
carbon.
They're
Carbon
negative.
Negative, yeah.
They're carbon negative. And so, hey, man, will this be the blockchain platform, the cryptocurrency that is massive, like gets mass adoption in tradition.
If that helps you get ESG compliant in any way,
because if you're not ESG compliant, bro, you're blacklisted from like BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. They came up with the ESG, and if BlackRock gives you the stamp of no, you can forget about anyone else. Because here's what they do: they have investments in all of the largest firms in the entire world, like Tesla, Disney. I mean, you name it. Google, they got money in it. So BlackRock, what they have the power to do is if Google goes out and invests hefty sums of money into a non-ESG compliant company, they can pull their funds. BlackRock can pull their funds from Google. So they got that thing hanging over their head. We're like, hey guys, at your own risk, go ahead. And so that is how they control the market. That is why BlackRock's probably the strongest entity in the world, stronger than any government, in my opinion.
You know, BlackRock, I think they're a pretty new company, man. They launched in like 1999, 2000. So you know, in the
a little over 20 years, you become the world's largest asset manager. That's
and so if you want to talk about a moonshot as far as traditional investing, if you would have got in on BlackRock, like holy crap! I wonder what they. Let me see here.
What
BlackRock?
10 trillion.
No, let's see what they opened it. They launched it at $14.
Interesting.
On their IPO, they came out at 14. They dipped down to $12.
Where are they at now?
600.
Some say undervalued. All right, let's move on.
And they were as high as like $900.
Not as high as Mr. Tech Goody on LSD over here. So next article, we're talking about Voyager token skyrockets as VGX pump scheme outed. The native token for Voyager has skyrocketed in what seems to be a new effort to inflate its price, seemingly inspired by the recent Celsius short squeeze, which only helped the people with the largest bag of Celsius token, which part of them was Alex Mashinsky. The price rise has coincided with the appearance of a Twitter hashtag called PumpVGX by July 18th, as well as the formation of a Telegram group called Voyager Community Recovery Channel, which has had more than 2,100 members at the time of writing. Unknown crypto venture firm Metaform Labs, which initiated the move on Twitter, has pledged to rescue Voyager through these means. They quoted.
Do you think, real quick before you read that quote, do you think the corporations at B, Celsius, and Voyager, do you think they secretly...
I wouldn't doubt it. I know
secretly put these together?
I would not doubt it at all. I mean, imagine if they can pump VGX.
They're the ones that stand the most to gain, right?
If they can pump VGX up to $1, yeah, we'll give you the equal amount in USD stablecoin.
I'm sure they're dumping. I mean, how much does Voyager owe? I mean, in the grand scheme of things. So they're trying to generate as much capital as they can. So and you got to think, they got to hold a lot of those tokens still. And if you just saw...
Yeah, they do hold a lot because of the rewards they have to pay out.
If you saw your own token just rally 3-4x and you know it's not sustainable and you know it's going to pull back, what do you think Voyager's doing? They're probably dumping those tokens on those stupid investors right now. And I don't like calling people names, but literally, if you're buying Voyager token after they declare bankruptcy, when you know that they have zero future, that's literally a stupid investment. And I will gladly say that is a stupid ass investment.
Yeah.
It'd be like buying the Sri Lanka currency right now.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No,
Why would you buy the Sri Lanka currency? Their government and economy is literally collapsing, and the president is not even there. So buying their currency because it's cheap and maybe if enough people buy it, it's literally stupid.
Unless the only thing I can see is if you're a very, very seasoned, like, swing trader, like, you know how to scalp. I mean, and you catch them on the way up, catch them on the way down.
The chances of catching that bounce is even harder.
What was the name of that?
Trying to time the bottom.
What was the name of that company that went under and lost 99% of their investors' value because they lost money shorting Terra Luna? They tried to time it. There was a company. I forget the name of it. We
Yeah, I
covered
know
it.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyways, back to this article. So Metaform Labs, which apparently initiated the pump movement on Twitter, said, quote, "We have set a new target range of $5 to $8. $5 to $8 per VGX token. Currently, we have $50 million internally and $67 million pledged by well-known crypto enthusiasts." What? I I agree with Robin on this one, okay? Please, for the love of God, for the love of whoever you believe in, if you believe in plants or your family or your dog or a plant or a pot, or don't fall for this BS. It could be people from the Voyager team. It could be someone looking to capitalize. Right? You enter a long position and you have a following or something, it catches traction. People start buying into it and then you dump on them. Guys, Voyager, dead. Celsius, dead. Stop buying the token. Stop trying to do the short squeeze thing. It's helping no one but the people who have the biggest bags. And guess who are the ones who have the biggest bags? It ain't you. It's not you. So just do yourself a favor. Cut your losses, okay? When I used to have a gambling problem, it was 100 in, another 100, another 100. Well, I'm already 400 in. What's another 300? You cut your losses. I promise you. It'll work out in the end. Okay? Rocco, what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just black hole. You just put stuff on it, you never come back. So I don't see the need to go ahead and keep going. I mean, there are so many other opportunities. You can really, even make more money, especially if you start now, that you don't need to go in this direction.
Right.
Not anymore.
That's
Not
what I'm
anymore.
saying. And, you know, if you've had your life savings on a Voyager or a Celsius, guess what? You can build up another life savings. You can build up more money. I mean, I always try to find a silver lining in every situation, okay? At least, and I'm not saying it's good that it happened, but at least it happened in a bear market, okay? Where you can pick up Ethereum for $1,000 when it was just at 5,000 8 months ago. You can buy Bitcoin at $20,000 when it was just at $70,000. You can buy Polygon at 60 cents. So yes, you might have lost $5,000, $100, $100,000, $10 million. But guess what? If you still believe in the market, if you still believe in cryptocurrency, we're literally, I would say we're almost at the bottom of a crypto bear market. I mean, what other time do you need? So you always try to turn a negative into a positive. There's always a silver lining. Take it as a lesson.
You know what we do need? 2 more members to join so we can get another emoji. What's our next emoji?
I feel like a lot of people use the slot machines. Can we do a cool version of a slot machine? Or
Okay.
they not be too redundant.
I don't want to do the same thing somebody else does. But maybe we'll find some. Maybe we'll find like the ace of spades. Or...
Yeah, I like that.
Bingo.
Bingo?
Get out
My
of
mom
Who
loves
plays
bingo.
bingo?
My mom loves bingo.
here. Old white people play bingo.
Oh, let's
What are you trying to say?
toss a
What?
coin. No, let's toss a coin in the air and shoot with it.
You want to?
I like to do that.
Okay. All right. You want to add anything else to this, Robin, before we move on?
I don't have anything good to say. I'm not gonna say anything at all.
Fair enough. Now, if you're a baseball fan, if you're a New York fan, rejoice. I hate baseball. I don't hate New York, but I hate baseball. I think it's the dumbest sport that's out there. I don't understand how anyone can.
How does your old bingo ass not like the most American pastime sport ever?
Hey, but bingo is okay.
Yeah,
Bingo's
he's like
number one.
golf, bingo, frisbee golf, clinko,
Croquet.
He's like, but baseball. I don't understand. I don't understand how nobody likes it. Bro,
It's such
you
a
like
bo-
all the other dull, boring
I
stuff.
don't know for the life of me how anyone can sit there for 3 hours and watch baseball.
It is. I mean, it is kind of tedious to watch it on TV. But to go watch a game in person is pretty damn cool, man. I'll be honest with you.
David, are you a commie? I'm not. I'm a huge NFL, huge basketball, huge hockey fan. Right? I like action sports. Not Swing. And I'm not saying that you don't need skill to play baseball. I'm saying
here's
for
a
a viewer,
question.
it's boring.
So they're gonna build. They're in talks of building a MLB
Stadium. Why?
No, not MLB. Sorry, MLS soccer stadium.
Well, they have one.
No, well, it's not. It's not an MLS.
Right,
It's,
but they
it's
can
the
use
smaller.
Allegiant.
No, they're gonna build a soccer.
They just keep building, man. First of all, we don't have water. Second of all, our schools suck. Our healthcare system sucks. There's
man,
people
don't
who
be
applied for
ranting over here on
There's
Vegas,
people
bro.
who applied for unemployment 2 years ago, so I've gotten zero. And you're over here, and I'm sure the city funds part of it, right? The city funded about $700 million of the
It
Raiders
brings a lot
stadium
of
or
revenue
more.
to the city, man. A lot of tourists come in town to watch these games.
Sure. Oh, right. No one's coming here to watch baseball or even soccer, and I like soccer.
Bro, every single event. Okay, now I'm just hearing. Every UFC fight, every boxing match, every single Raiders game, every single Golden Knights game has been sold out. Every single one.
Every what? Raiders and hockey game? Yeah, because they're exciting sports. Baseball is not an exciting sport. It's boring.
Bro, you're telling me if they build a baseball park, they're not going to sell out? They're going to sell out every game.
Hell no. You want to make a bet? Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet. $5.
What are we gonna bet? We don't even have a stadium or a team.
They'll only sell
He's
out.
like, oh, they're gonna sell. Like, what are you talking about?
We're making a futures bet.
That's like saying like, well, in 1980 or in 2080, I'll make a $5 bet with you that the price of Bitcoin is going to be equal to the price. Like, get out of here, man.
All right, let's talk about this. All right, let's talk about the Yankees. All right, arguably the most well-known brand in baseball, one of the most well-known brands across all sports. They have inked a partnership deal with a leading Bitcoin company, NYDIG, who handles mostly custodial for institutions and banks. They've announced their partnership with the Yankees. According to the survey conducted by NYDIG, more than a third of employees under 30 would be interested in getting paid in Bitcoin, or at least partially.
So this kind of, I know this is not the same.
You remember the Nationals?
I know this is not the same correlation. But when I see this headline, there was another headline very similar to this one.
I know what you're. I know what you're.
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was Dallas Mavericks partnering with Voyager.
Oh, yeah.
And
You trying to say NYDIG is Voyager?
I prefaced my comments by saying this is not comparable. I'm just reading the headline and I'm just like, oh yeah, when was the last time a major sports franchise partnered with a custodial service? Oh, that was Voyager and Mavericks. How'd that go over? You know what?
Did you watch that Coffee
your
video?
shark, Mark Cuban, has been catching so much hate. There's a lot of people got exposure, their first exposure to Voyager
through him.
And, you know, they had Voyager advertisements all throughout. They had like their own, like, subscription code. So if you used the Dallas Mavericks like code in Voyager, you earn like extra crypto when you signed up. So
here's the thing though, guys. Here's the thing. No one knew this was going to happen. Okay. So it's not like Mark Cuban went in there, had a partnership deal with them, knowing that they were going to screw their people over. And so,
no,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying at face value, it's
correct. People are upset, right? Yeah. Like at the end of the day, we all make our own decisions. If Robin tells me, hey, you got to buy this coin, you got to buy this coin, I might feel the urge to buy it, but ultimately it's up to me if I want to put my money into it, not with Robin. So that's why whenever someone tells you something, even if we get a sponsorship deal to do a video on a coin one day, and we say, hey, this looks like a pretty good project, you know, we're not telling you to invest in it. You still do your own research. It's your money. Don't take our word for it, like anyone's word for it. Your money, your decision, your consequences. And that's just what it is.
And remember, at the end of the day, all risks come with, all investments come with risk.
All of them.
And whether the risks are minute.
Being friends with Robin is a risk, guys. It's a risk. You don't understand what goes on. Right, Rocco? Rocco will agree with me.
I'm taking notes.
He's taking notes of what I said because he knows I'm right. So I don't have much else to say. We're going to see more of this. We saw the Cowboys do it with blockchain.com. We see the New York Yankees. Mavericks, obviously, that didn't work out too well. But we're going to see more of this. Sports intertwined with blockchain and crypto. Guys, again.
Yankees are... it's a brand known around the world, man.
It is a brand.
The Japanese love the Yankees.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a must stop if you're
if
you're in New York and you are visiting from
would you say
Japan?
What's bigger, the Dallas Cowboys partnering with blockchain?
Internationally is the Yankees.
Yankees, I agree.
International,
I agree.
Perhaps here in the U.S. is probably the Dallas Cowboys at this point, just because of the rise of the NFL's dominance in our sports world. But internationally, definitely the Yankees.
Yeah. So bullish news. All right. Let's talk about this article. This is interesting. So, Robin, I don't know if you read this or not, but follow along. This is very interesting. U.S. Treasury study finds CBDCs a plus for commercial bank stability. The introduction of a CBDC may increase the stability of a banking system, according to a paper released Tuesday by the U.S. Treasury Office of Financial Research. They say that this could create the detractors are saying this could create financial fragility in case of an adverse event, and that could lead to a bank run. The second argument was based on a so-called information effect. Banks in weak positions may try to hide that fact from regulators to avoid intervention. Hiding unfavorable information could also make the crisis worse because of delayed response. So what they're saying is, and I don't know why it does this, but it didn't highlight everything I wanted to highlight. So in the author's model, access to a CBDC intuitively makes experiencing a liquidity shock less costly to depositors, so banks can provide less insurance against the risk. So what they're saying is, if we do CBDCs, instead of letting the commercial banks create their own money, right, which is what they do, we can see where they're putting their money, and we can essentially forecast, hey, they're getting a little too loose with their lending, with their borrowing, so we can see the path they're on, and it might not lead well. So they can essentially preemptively stop something like what happened with, I know this is a different sector, but Celsius. They could have seen, hey, they're lending this much money to 3AC. They're putting trouble's brewing, guys. So they can warn investors, or they can put a halt to it. So now I've been against CBDCs. I think it gives too much power and oversight into every single day transactions, what people do with their money. Now, it can be used for good, like in this instance, but I don't think our government would stop.
In this instance is what I've been preaching this whole time when it comes to CBDCs is the transaction or the movement of monetary asset, in this case being the dollar for this country, but you can take this to any country, from the central bank or the Fed or the Treasury, or wherever you're creating value or moving value. So you take funds from the central bank and you send it to a charter bank, a bank branch. That is done way more efficiently through a CBDC. And the fact that it's auditable and it's transparent with everyone, and you don't have to wait till the end of the month to figure out what the report was for the month before. That's essentially where we're at. The same way that the CPI numbers come in, you don't know what was printed, what was lent out, what the bonds are, until weeks and weeks later. And so you should, as a citizen, know what your government is doing with your tax money, because that's essentially what it is. And if it's not your tax money, well, technically it's still your tax money, because they're just inflating your tax money. They're inflating their own currency, debasing the amount of. Anyways, what I'm saying is that transparency on the Fed level, I think, is a good thing. It is better than what we have now. But
how far will they take it?
But yeah, that's where it goes into.
You trust them?
And I advocate for a free market in stable coins, and I do honestly believe this is where we're going. I think we're heading into an area where nation states can transact amongst one another. The U.S. and China, and U.S. and Germany, and the U.S. and England can facilitate the interest payments, buy and sell bonds. Central bank can lend money to another central bank across the pond. You can do all of this way more efficiently with a central bank digital token. And I do think that the free market is going to be the retail side, the investor, the citizen. I think we are still going to use Tether and USDC and other players that come into the fray that grow. And I think there's going to be, when I say new players, like perhaps Bank of America will have their own stable coin. And when there is clarity in the regulation side, I could see big business here in the U.S. corporations getting into stable coins. And I think you can start picking and choosing. And, you know, maybe one of your biggest concerns is privacy and security.
Right.
And so if JP Morgan comes out with their own stable coin and they say, look, nobody has access to the data. You can use our stable coin and it's pervious to tracking and auditing unless we get subpoenaed by the court system, which would be the standard transaction, be the standard protocol if for the banking system now. Obviously, the federal government's not keeping tabs on my spending on a day-to-day basis. And if they want my bank records, they do have to go to they do have to get a warrant, which is pretty easily done, but you know, they do have to go through some kind of process to get my bank records, financial history. And so are we going to see that in the free market? I think so. And I think CBDC, I know everyone's so against it
because we don't trust the government, bro.
No, we don't. But here's the thing. If they don't shut down the stablecoin free market, if they let that grow, then at that point you choose. And if you send me your crap ass CBDC in whatever form you want, I'm just going to sell it and buy my own free market token. So you send me dollar whatever token, as soon as it hits my bank account or my wallet, I sell it and I buy Tether. I sell it and I buy USDC. I sell it and I buy Bitcoin. I sell it and I buy Bank of America coin, whatever. So I think that's where we're going. I think everyone's so spooked with the idea of a CBDC. Zoom out, man. It's really good technology in comparison to what we have now. Swift, not working. It's not very swift. That's all I got.
Bitcoin's pumping. 20,700.
Oh, look at that.
Oh. Man. This is when it's all done, guys, this is gonna be dope. Super dope. All right, let's move on to our last segment of our show, our NFTs. Robin, were you ever a skateboarder?
Hell yeah.
Okay. You know who Tony Hawk is?
Who doesn't know who Tony Hawk is? You know,
unless you only play bingo in your life, you should know it.
Okay, here. You know what? I got a story. I got a story to tell you.
Story time?
Story time. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
You're gonna ruin my timestamps, by the way.
So was story time here. So my son, he's all into Minecraft and video games and iPads and YouTubes. Not far from the apple didn't fall from the tree. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. So I was like, what can I get him that, increase productivity, get him out of the house, stop staring at the screen so much. And so I was like, you know what? I skateboarded a lot when I was younger. And I really enjoy skateboarding. And I remember my parents bought me one of those like cheap Walmart skateboards that, the little kick thing, where it elevates. Yeah. It was only on one side. It was like Ninja Turtles. It was crappy. And so I got that. And then later on, I ended up upgrading, getting a nice one. And so for Christmas, I got I went to a skateboard shop and I custom built my son a skateboard.
You built one?
Yeah, that's you can go to a skateboard shop and you pick them out, and I did build it, and so you get all the parts, you go home.
You're just cheap. You could have just bought him one for the skateboard shop. You went all the way down to the skateboard.
I literally prefaced this before. I said I didn't want to do what my parents did and get them the cheap one.
My bad.
You gotta argue about a skateboard.
I wasn't 100% paying attention. Sorry.
So literally, I wanted to get him a good one and get him right off the rip, so he didn't need to upgrade later. And so
hold on. So when your son turns 8, 16, 17, you're gonna just buy him a Benz right off the bat? You're not gonna buy him like a Camry?
We're talking about a skateboard, bro.
Yeah, but
$100.
You gotta start from the bottom, work your way up, bro. You're a terrible parent, Robin.
Okay,
So, anyways,
let's talk.
so for Christmas, you know, I wrap up the skateboard, and it's obviously a skateboard. It's in the wrapping paper. It's got the two little, you know, flail out sides. You can see the wheels. And anyways, got a skateboard for Christmas. I was like super pumped at it, you know.
He rode it for one day and then stopped, right?
Well, no. So he's opening up. We're at my parents' house, and he's opening up his gifts. He opens up the skateboard. He's like, oh, cool. He opens up my parents' gift. I got
What's
his
in
ass
Xbox?
an electric scooter.
Are you
They
serious?
just straight pooped all over my gift, bro. And you know what
Did
happened?
they know you were getting-
Christmas morning, my son
That's
is
cool.
not riding a skateboard. He's riding an electric scooter, just like, zzz. And I'm like, Dad, you did this.
You know, Broke
You
Yoshi.
did this.
Broke Yoshi would appreciate this. Remember, Nacho Libre was like,
Dude, man.
so did your parents know you were buying him a skateboard? I don't know if you said that.
How do you know? I don't really remember if I informed him.
That would have been cold-blooded, man.
Either way, man.
That's messed up.
Yeah, man. So, anyways, I'm sure he's still electric scootering around and, you know, skateboard just
Making
sitting in
his
the
way
closet.
downtown. Remember that song? Anyways, let's move on. All right, we got 2 articles to talk about. And then, so NFT news, Tony Hawk and the Sandbox partnered to create the world's biggest skate park in the metaverse. Tony Hawk, which is one of the world's most famous and recognized skateboarders, announced his partnership with Sandbox to build the largest virtual skate park ever made. Hawk's metaverse will not only have a marketplace to sell skateboards and skate accessories, but will also give users access to editing tools to create the skate park of their dreams. So we are going to watch this video without sound. Chances are it will be copywritten, and we have dealt with so much copyright stuff. So here, let me do this. I'll bump it up. I watched it before. The sound doesn't really matter, guys. It's just music in the background. All right, let's go.
I hear a sound. Just saying. Oh, okay. Are you a fan of this pixelated thing? Minecraft look?
Not really. But I know it's very popular amongst a lot of kids and
That
stuff.
looks cool,
This is
man.
pretty cool, man.
I take it back. That is pretty badass.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
did you
pretty
ever play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater
Hell yeah, I did.
for the PlayStation?
Hell yeah.
Dude, that was the most epic. They remember the warehouse, which was like the first level you played in? Dope. Rocco has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's like,
Or you know what this also looks like? Remember those finger flips? You remember like the
the finger
skateboards?
boards.
Yeah.
all right, guys. So there's your sneak
Like
peek.
you knew you just weren't athletic when you were working on your tricks on your fingers.
Hey guys, have you think to kind of build out a museum so where I can go sleep in there while I practice my driving skills?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You want
Let's do
to
it.
sleep in a museum?
yeah, you just told me I'm old. I don't know what we're talking about the skateboard. So I don't know. And maybe I needed some kind of.
Okay,
well,
Rocco.
well,
Rocco,
build-
did you play Tony Hawk Pro Skater for PlayStation?
No.
No, I did not.
There you
Rocco
go.
was
See?
drinking espresso.
That's what
man.
I'm
Leave
saying,
him
No, I
man.
was
alone.
playing. I like the driving car.
He's saying we
things.
do
What
a
it was
museum
called?
where we put all the vintage stuff that he doesn't know anything about. Then he has a nap room in there.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah,
he just
yeah,
wanted
no.
to sleep in a museum.
Well,
I
that
was
would
just
be-
like,
that would be cool, too.
I'm not,
You've
is that
never
something-
seen the
is that
movie-
something you do in Italy?
You've never seen the movie Night at the Museum?
That's a terrible movie, man.
You're an uncultured
No,
swine.
I played Ford. What it was the driving car.
I like the Twisted
Grand-
Metal because
Well,
you
you're
could
talking to a
drive
drifter,
and-
car
and-
drifter here,
Grand
bro.
Theft Auto. I like the game. I played.
I lost audio.
didn't- never
Rocco,
liked
did you mute
skateboard.
us? Oh, they lost audio. Yeah, the video had no audio, Jason.
Yeah.
Anyways, I like Tony Hawk. I like the game. And I love Rocco.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Robin, you want to add anything else to this?
No, I'm good.
All right. And the last one. NFTs to serve as lifetime Netflix and Spotify subscriptions. Croatians. Did you read this?
No. That's
Cro-
the first I'm hearing about this.
Croatian subscription management startup Revudo is preparing to launch an innovative and new Web3 concept where NFTs will serve as lifetime digital subscriptions to either Netflix or Spotify.
Also, in more Netflix news, Netflix is partnering with Microsoft, and they're gonna run a version. They have a membership where they play ads, and then it's gonna have a cheaper subscription. So think of like Hulu.
Hulu. Come on, man.
Well, here's the thing: you don't have to go for that model. But if you're like, yo, $15 is too much, or
It's $20.
or $20 is too much, you can get the $4.99 version and watch ads. You know, I mean, it's a good option. I mean, if you literally can't afford a monthly payment, or you're trying to cut back and you don't mind watching ads, I mean, how many people watch ads on YouTube?
Okay, let me put it to you this way, okay? And I mean this in the most sensitive way possible, but if you can't afford $20 a month on Netflix, you shouldn't be watching Netflix.
Okay, if you can't afford $11.99 on YouTube, should you not be watching YouTube?
No, but
that's what I'm saying. There's people that don't want to pay a monthly membership, and they want to consume their content. And so you can watch YouTube for free and watch the ads, or you can pay $12 and you can skip the ads.
But you can't go backwards.
What do you mean?
YouTube started as free, and then they added the option to pay. Netflix is not, they didn't do that. Netflix never started for free. You pay for the service anyways.
I'm going to adamantly disagree. I think if you can offer a product for somebody that is having a hard time making ends meet, with the median salary being $50,000, inflation being 10%.
Well, then those people shouldn't be watching Netflix, man.
Well, so they're not supposed to consume it. So if you are making $50,000 a year and paying too much on rent,
it sounds really
you
bad.
are not allowed. You're not allowed to buy. You shouldn't be watching Netflix.
This sounds insensitive.
Just
I
go
know.
buy a VHS player and get some old Disney movies and just pop those things in, because you can pick them up at 30 cents a pop at the pawn shop. Like, get out of here, man. You know what? If somebody wants to save some money and watch an ad, let them do it, man.
All right. Well, now with this NFT, it's dubbed the Revolution NFT. The digital asset will grant holders with a digital credit card courtesy of the I believe this means fintech because it says Finch, company Railsir, which they can then use to pay for the Spotify or Netflix subscriptions for life. It is a collaboration with Crypto.com, and it costs $350 United States dollars. This is a quote from CEO and co-founder Vedran Vukman. In case they are not using the service, the users can simply get their money back or even profit from selling the NFTs. We wish to enable everyone to efficiently manage their subscriptions and eventually to make the digital subscription market fair and more equitable. You know, you talk about not everything needs blockchain, not everything needs NFTs. Do you think this makes sense, Robin?
Yeah, I think so. I think ticketing, subscription services, I think they're more efficiently done with NFTs. And especially anything that lives on the internet. Anything that lives on the internet, I think fundamentally can be integrated in. I mean, you can look at social media with the metaverse. You can look at payment platforms, you know, the digital tickets that we have now through StubHub. It's just overly priced. I think any digital platform you can integrate.
Right.
Now, in the real world, like, do we need a blockchain at Foot Locker? Probably not. And I understand you can create an NFT and you can go redeem your NFT for a pair of shoes. I'm not saying that there's no space for it and it has no functionality, but I'm just saying realistically, end of the day, your material goods, most of those probably don't need it. You don't need a blockchain at your grocery store. Now, you might need blockchain-based payment system to facilitate payments, but you get where I'm getting at.
I don't think people, just to go back to your point real quick before we finish up, I don't think people are canceling Netflix because it's expensive. They're canceling Netflix because all the good stuff is off of Netflix now.
Oh yeah, their platform is literally
dying
for
and their quality of
content is down.
And the content they're putting out is not at the level to where, like, yo, I need Netflix because this show's amazing.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of innovative series, and they're just now they're in there. Where's Stranger Things? They're like season 5 or
season
something?
4 just came out, huge hit,
and
Ozark, huge hit.
But these are all there's no more right now. There's none on the horizon as far as brand new franchises that are kind of like trending, I guess. But
we'll see what happens. Anyways, we are done. You got anything else to add, Robin, before I ask Rocco to?
That's it, bro.
Rocco, roll the outro. Friends and family, thank you guys so much for joining us on this beautiful Thursday to Sin City Crypto Live. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we love you guys. Tomorrow is Forrest Day. Forrest is back from vacation. We're excited to have him on the show. So please come join us tomorrow. End your week with Crypto Stackers.
Forrest tried to sneak in and take that.
The L from you, bro.
Yeah, they tried to take the win and
You gonna confront him about it tomorrow?
and around the blockchain.
Because I'll bring it up tomorrow, bro. You can't be talking all this mess before he comes on and then be quiet when he comes on.
I didn't talk
I'm
mess.
gonna bring it up.
I just said, dude was he was
I'm bringing
going
it
for
up,
the win,
bro.
man.
You know what he's gonna say? He goes, I don't even think about that. Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.
Bye.
Say she love me, but that's when she rockin' Prada bag. Said she ready for the next, I won't not so fast. Slow down, girl, don't you crash. Whoa, yeah. Cause we can mess up that pretty face, but we can fuck up that pretty lady. Tryna kiss up, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I will pay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I can't do, baby. No, I can't move, baby. Nothing I can't prove, baby. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Question marks along your brain, wonder if you should try again. Look at me inside your braces. Can't focus when we face to face. Plenty things I could go say. Name a place I go and pay at. Said she want no boo. Been around the world, plenty things I can show you. Taking flights to GA for our soul food. Gotta pay 1K for GA at my shows too. Keep a 1K with my fans even at my lows. Ooh. That's why I'm back. Show your man the things I've showed you. Tell your man how I used to hold you, but I won't hold you. Your new man is lame and all I spoke is true. Life won't smoke for you. That sadness comes with coping too. This madness come with shit that's overdue. You strong with yourself, nobody else holding you. But I ain't holding you. You the one I need when I'm off that perk or two. Hit that thing early, got you sleep like curve for you. All these lame ass bitches I curve for you. All these packs and pearls I burn with you. It's up now, baby, it's stuck. They can look, but they cannot. They gon' hate, so I keep that tuck. All this ice on me like pucks. I work hard, don't need no luck. Only thing I need is my Glock. When there's bread, these birds gon' flock. When they dead, I let them rot. I ain't tryna leave you up, I said stop waiting. And I don't got time for these pussy fuckers playing. You gotta read between the lines that I am saying. Ain't got no time for no more bullshit conversations. Cause I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off.